Hello and welcome, or welcome back as the case may be if you saw my first video, to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah and I'm currently living in Bali, Indonesia. I've been here for about 2 months now and it's been pretty eventful to say the least, but I figured it was time to make an update video about settling in and how I've gotten on here and some of the things that I've been up to. So I'm a bit of a sweaty mess, which is what I look like most of the time in Bali because it is very, very hot here, but it makes a nice change from the cold weather in the UK, so no complaints from me. And they do currently have the aircon on at full blast, so hopefully I should cool down as this video goes on. I've just been out and about running some errands, so yeah. So where to begin? So in my last video, I was in quarantine in Jakarta. I got free, I tested negative, I flew to Bali, and then my very first day in Bali was Nyepi, which is a day of silent meditation where you stay at home, you're not meant to use much electricity, you can't go outside, like not even for a walk, and you don't make any noise. Lots of experts tend to leave for Nyepi, but obviously it was my very first day here, so that just wasn't realistic, and it was a cool thing to experience. Maybe not my timing wasn't the best because it perhaps wasn't the best for me after 5 days of being in quarantine by myself, but it was really cool. I was in a hotel with an awesome rooftop pool, so I just spent the day getting sunburnt because there weren't any umbrellas, and just listening to like the sounds of nature, mainly chickens and dogs, but it was a beautiful day. Saw like a pretty cool sunset from the roof, and then at night I just went back to my room and slept. Okay, my gimbal just like started flopping around, so I kind of lost my train of thought. I instantly fell in love with Bali. I felt very at home being back in Asia again. In a lot of ways, even though I've never been here before, it felt very familiar to me just because I've spent, so much of my adult life in Asia now. So it was a really wonderful feeling to be back. But I did feel a little bit homesick at first. I just think because I hadn't really formed an attachment to Bali, I guess. And also the hotel I was staying in, while it was nice, it was really noisy at night, so it was quite hard to get a good night's rest. So I moved into a guest house where I'm still currently living. Really lucked out because it's super cheap at just 3 million a month, which is about £150. And yeah, the nicest people live here, which is really cool. So it's been a good way to make friends, meet new people to, go out with and just chat to. And there are cats here, which is a massive bonus because I'm such a cat person. I mean, I really miss my dog, but I'm also a massive cat person. So yeah, there are 3 cats here called Appa, Momo, and Jaya. Jaya's the mum. And so I even made an Instagram account for them because my housemate RJ buys them like so much stuff, like hoodies, glasses, sombreros. Like I swear every day something new arrives for these cats. They even have a little drawer full of their clothes. So yeah, so that's really cool. I really like where I'm living. So I've seen a little bit of the island so far. So I'm staying in Canggu. I've also spent quite a bit of time in Seminyak. I go to the gym in Seminyak because gyms in Canggu are insanely expensive. And I can't bring myself to pay more each month for the gym than for my rent. But gyms in Seminyak are a lot more reasonably priced. I like Seminyak as a neighborhood. It's got some really cool shops, spas, bars. So that's really nice. And then beyond that, Easter weekend, I took a trip to Ubud with my friends Lisa and Caroline, and that was awesome. We got to see the rice terraces where there was like no people there. We went on the swing and we didn't have to queue for an hour to do it. We tasted weasel poo coffee. We did a tasting and there were all these different kinds of like teas and coffees too, so that was really awesome. Yeah, and we went to a water temple and got to do like the bathing ritual and like where you cleanse yourself and set intentions for going forward. And honestly, it was such a hot day, so even that part of it, like, it was just so wonderful to cool down. But it was a really cool, like, mindful process. And I'm not a particularly spiritual person, but it was cool to not just see the temple, but actually to get in the water and, you know, wear the sarong and do it and actually partake in the ceremony. And like, what was cool is, because I guess normally it would be quite touristy, but because the island is closed, most of the people there were just Balinese who were coming to worship. So that was pretty cool. Obviously, it's a massive shame for the locals about the lack of tourism, and it is so sad to see them struggling. But selfishly, as a traveller, you know, you do get to experience Bali at a time when it's not overcrowded, when there isn't loads of tourists everywhere, so that is cool. But at the same time, there's that guilt that, you know, as the traveller, you get the good end of the deal, low prices, quiet places, and that the locals, their businesses are suffering so much. And also, while I was in Ubud, we had the best driver, Putu. He was awesome. He was just like part of our squad. We had such a good day thanks to him. He would just tell us like stories from when he was at school and like talk about like different things like Balinese kids do, like you can get a special motorbike license to drive to school if your parents won't take you and stuff. And yeah, he was awesome and so much fun. We had such a great day thanks to him. So I will put his number down in the description box, and if anyone watches this and is planning a trip to Ubud, you should definitely text him, because he is the best. And he's also on Instagram as well, so I'll put that down below too. Because yeah, you'll just have a great day with him. He's super flexible, but he's just like a lovely and fun guy, and yeah, like, cannot recommend enough. I've also been twice to Uluwatu, which I think is one of the areas of Bali with the best beaches. They kind of reminded me of like Thai beaches with like the cliffs and the limestone casts and just like the pure white sand, just beautiful. So we went to Padang Beach, which is honestly one of the nicest beaches I've ever seen. We took a tour of the temple, and then we went back again like a month later, and we stayed in this resort called Lakaban, which was just stunning. They had this beautiful like blue and white pool, and then it looks out onto the cliffs and the beach. We had a floating breakfast in the pool. There was like a little swing. The whole area was so cute. And we stayed in this beautiful Balinese bungalow with like an outdoor bathroom, and at night, even when I was peeing, I even heard like the monkeys climbing in the trees, and which was a little bit freaky, but it was such a cool experience to stay there. And we only stayed there one night, but actually we probably should have stayed 2 or 3 because it was just beautiful there. God, I've got the aircon on full blast, but it is hot today. You know when you get hot and you just can't cool down? That's me right now. It doesn't help that I'm a bit hungover. I went to Finn's Beach Club with some friends yesterday to celebrate my friend's belated birthday. We'll explain in a moment why I missed her birthday. But yeah, and so I'm kind of hungover today, because then afterwards we went dancing and it was such a fun day, but kind of paying for a little bit now. Settling into Bali was all going great. Work was going well. I'd found nice friends, had some fun nights out. Like got into a good routine of going to the gym, found a nice co-working space. Life was gravy. And then I started to feel a little bit unwell. So on the Saturday night, my friends and I went to this club called La Favela. We got pretty drunk. We shared a bottle of arak, which is traditional like Balinese. I think it's like a moonshine. It's like kind of like rice wine is what it reminds me of, but it's like a locally brewed spirit. So we were passing around a bottle of that, and next day I was super hungover. And then on the Monday I still didn't feel great, but I just figured arak like can really make you feel bad. So I just figured, oh, you know, I felt a bit sick, but I was like, oh, this is just what I deserve. This is the 2-day hangover, which it might have been. And then on the Tuesday, Caroline texted me and she said, oh, hey, I'm not coming to the co-working space today because I feel like I've got a cold. And actually towards the end of the day, I also started to feel like I was getting a cold too. And I decided to skip the gym and just rest. And then The next day I woke up coughing, but not badly, but I just really didn't feel good. Even though I'd gotten like a lot of sleep, I felt worse. And so I was like, okay, I think I need to go and get a COVID test just to make sure that I don't have COVID. And so there's a clinic just around the corner from me, and they can do the lateral flow test, and you get your results in 15 minutes if you just sit and wait. So I thought, okay, you know what, just for my own peace of mind, I'll get the test, and then I'll just go along with my day. You know, I can go to my co-working space and be out in public with a good conscience, knowing that I don't have COVID, you know, it's just a cold, because I was sure that that was what it was. And then the results came back positive, and I actually did have COVID. So then I had to go home and isolate. And obviously, living in a guest house with like a shared garden and stuff, that just meant staying in my room for 10 days, which, yeah, I started to lose my mind a little bit. You know, the first few days I just kind of felt really rough anyway, so I just wanted to lay in bed and rest. It wasn't a big deal to me that I couldn't go out, you know. But I had a pretty mild case. I would say after about 5 days, I did start to feel quite a bit better. I was still very tired, but like my cough cleared up. I didn't have a temperature anymore. My stomach settled, and everything. So I felt okay, but I was just still stuck inside for like another 5 days, and I was just so bored. I would just sleep for as long as possible just to pass the time. But yeah, I mean, luckily it could have been so much worse, and luckily my housemates were all really nice. You know, they brought me medicine and cake, and they would just come and check on me to make sure that I was all right. You know, like my housemate went out and bought me loads of fruit and was just, you know, like, make sure you eat your vitamins, and got me some of those vitamin tablets, like I guess the Indonesian version of Berocca, and so I drank that every morning. Oh, and a little finger thing, so to check my oxygen level and my heart rate, because I think if it dips below 95 you have to go to hospital, but luckily that was all normal for me. Like, my case was really mild. So yeah, I mean, there was one housemate, she so the first day I hadn't had a chance to order stuff, so I just went into the kitchen when there was no one in the kitchen, and it's an open space kitchen, so I put on 2 masks, sanitized my hands. I was like, I just need to go and get some water because I need to hydrate, because you can't drink the tap water here, because that would probably give you problems that would be worse than COVID. And then she came into the kitchen, and I was like, oh no, I was like, no, wait there, I have COVID. And before I could even explain that I was gonna order water, but I just needed some like right then, she started screaming at me, was like, you need to go on quarantine to a quarantine hotel in Jakarta, which, how could I get to Jakarta with, like, safely, you know? What a dick. So she was like screaming at me and like yelling at me, and then luckily I just walked away from her because I didn't even know what to say. You know when someone just blows up in your face and you're not expecting it, and I was just like, I was like, I've got COVID, man, fucking leave me alone. So yeah, so she was just a dick, and then I just like went back into my room, and luckily my other 2 housemates were like, look, they heard, and they were like, just leave her alone, you know, like, they just told her to shut up. Because I wasn't like going around licking the cutlery or anything. I was like covered in, I was completely protected, and I just needed water. And then actually I did order like these big 6-litre bottles to pour in and stuff, so that I didn't have to go out. It was just that like one occasion when I didn't have any, and I don't know. But yeah, so she was a joy, but I think she's moving out soon, so yeah. So, but other than her, the rest of them were all super nice, and I'm really thankful that I was in a good guest house with a good crew, who, you know, they were just looking out for me. I think it just, because I was fine, you know, but I think it does just make such a difference to know that there is someone there looking out for you when you're, you know, got this deadly disease and you're a long way from home. So yeah, so that was the silver lining to the whole experience. And luckily in Indonesia you can have everything delivered, so I would just pay for it on my card and then write the instructions that the Grab driver would leave it on the little table outside the door, and they would just tap on the window, give me a thumbs up, and then yeah, so So yeah, I did the 10 days, symptoms cleared up. Yeah, so you know, now I'm COVID free and I at least have some immunity for a while, so that should be good. So yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to get the vaccine before too long. So yeah, and then since then I've just been, you know, trying to seize the day. I'm going to Cedarman next weekend. I'll maybe even make a video about that, which is like this area of Bali that it's not very developed. There's just like rice fields and beautiful natural landscapes, so I'm super excited for that. There's really so much more I could say, but I think for now I've probably waffled on for long enough, and if anyone's still watching, like, I'm quite impressed. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here for now, and then I'll edit it and upload it in a few days' time. But yeah, if you've stayed with me for this long, thank you so much. Yeah, please leave me a comment, let me know what you think, even if it's just shut up. Actually, no, don't comment telling me to shut up, that'll make me sad. But yeah, so this was my life update. I guess I'll post another one soon. And let me know if there's any questions you want answered. I would actually really love to do an FAQ video. I mean, I haven't been here for a super long time, but if there's anything specific that you'd like to know about Bali, like drop your questions in the box below, and maybe I can make a video answering all of them. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.